Good evening or good morning, depending on where you are. Welcome to another episode of the Fall to Rise podcast. I'm your host, James Brown. And tonight we have a unique bonus episode. For the first time ever, I'm actually interviewing someone in Thailand. Tonight's guest is Miss Sherrie Elle. Sherrie, how are you?
I am excellent. I am excellent. I'm well. I'm Sherrie Elle.
Mhm.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for being on. Tonight's episode is about living freely. And you are the epitome of someone that lives free. You gave up the life that you had here in the States and decided to move out to Asia. What made you move out to Thailand?
Well, the reason I moved originally was to complete a certification program to teach English as a foreign language. So I was actually only scheduled to be here for 6 months, but what became 6 months, what was 6 months became 2 years now. Actually, 2 years next week.
Mhm.
And I just loved it.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, what's it like living out there?
What's it like living out here? It's almost like a completely different world.
Okay.
It's so relaxed. The people are so much more friendlier.
Mhm.
It's slow paced.
Mhm.
The scenery is beautiful. The people, the culture, the language. People are just a lot more carefree, and they're not worrying about bills, day to day stress.
Mhm. Oh, wow. So it's obvious you're a black woman that's from America, that's living in a mostly Asian country. Are there any particular challenges that you have being a black woman out there? I mean, it's hard enough being a black woman here. So you have other black people here. So do you have difficulties being out there in Thailand?
Yes, there's day to day issues that arise. One of the concerns that I do have is skincare and beauty products.
Okay.
Many of the products here are catered for Asians and
Hmm.
people of lighter skin.
Okay.
Also, beauty care products for my hair. I'm a natural sister. I don't, I
Hmm.
don't, I don't have straight hair that flows down my shoulders.
Hmm.
So finding hair care products can be a challenge. Um, those are the only two challenges. And I wouldn't even call them challenges. They're just there's ways to get around them.
Hmm.
Also, maybe clothes.
Okay.
Finding clothes that are catered to women that have a little more curves.
Hmm. Hmm.
Those are the only three
Okay.
concerns that come up.
So there's no issues with racism out there?
They're very minor. It's one of those things about how you carry yourself
Okay.
because you are in a foreign country. So just being mindful of the culture and being respectful. I wouldn't say it's really about the way you carry yourself. There's times where I've been mistreated because they were just having a bad day. But there's also times where I expected to be mistreated or not even mistreated or to be treated differently. And that wasn't the case because it's all about, like I said, how you carry yourself, how respectful you are. Are you willing to learn the language? Are you willing to interact with them and understand people, not just to get a service rendered to you or just being able to see them as a person or not just rushing or, just not rushing and actually getting to know them.
Mhm.
And you're doing that, you're not mistreated or you're not greeted with discrimination.
Hmm. Okay. Now, before you lived in Asia, where did you live? Where are you originally from?
So I am originally from Philadelphia. I'm a Philly girl. I'm a
Live.
Philly girl.
Mhm. All right.
Yes.
And what was it like growing up out in Philly?
Growing up in Philly, it was rough.
Hmm.
It's the inner city. Uh, I will say that it was challenging only in regards to um, fights,
Okay.
domestic violence. You see uh, violence on the streets, police. And you have to come home, or you're waking up to police outside the house, or your neighbors fighting, or getting into just common spat with the people in your neighborhood.
Yeah, pretty much.
Was.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, those were the common issues dealing with in Philly.
Well, were you happy living in Philly? Just with life in general?
I was happy with my family. I was happy with my friends. Honestly, I was at a place. I got to a place where, after going on a trip to Europe with some friends and coming back home, and it was only a week-long trip. After that trip, it made me reevaluate what I was still doing, not even just in Philadelphia, but in the United States. I've always been that person to wanna, I just want to take a trip. I want to travel, and I'll take a day trip or a trip to by myself. And I sat and thought to myself, like, why am I still here? Like, what's holding me back? And the only thing that was holding me back is getting my undergraduate degree at that time.
Okay. Wow. Okay. All right.
Can you all see me?
Yes.
Clearly, is there a glare? I'm just having a hard time seeing you all.
No, there's no glare. We can actually see you pretty clearly.
Okay.
I know that especially growing up in pretty much the hood. I grew up in the hood myself, so I know that there's a lot of stresses that you have, and we sometimes take unhealthy ways of dealing with our stresses. You're born and raised in Philly. I was originally born in Brooklyn. Grew up in a small town called Irvington, which is right next to Newark, New Jersey, which a lot of people know about. So, we sometimes had unhealthy ways of dealing with our stresses. How did you cope with your stresses just growing up in an area like Philly?
How did I deal with my stresses?
Yeah.
Well, I had family, very close family, that I was able to talk to.
Okay.
Also, I had a close network of friends, and when I did deal with some issues I had at home, I had friends and their parents who took me in as their own, and was able to really shelter me and nourish me where needed.
Okay.
So that's how I dealt.
Okay. I don't know if you know, but your camera's off. You have no video. There we go. All right. So when you first went overseas on this trip, what made you say, I'm going back? I'm going back there to live? Because that's a huge decision, to leave everything that you have, to leave your friends, your family. What made you say, I'm going to leave all of this behind and go over there?
Well, as I mentioned, it was originally just to obtain my Teach English as a Foreign Language certification, and just do a little bit of traveling for about 6 months, and then return with my certification. But after after doing some traveling and meeting some of the most phenomenal, beautiful people, and seeing some of the most amazing places just in Southeast Asia, it made me question why would I take a 23 and a half hour trip back home if there wasn't any pressing issue or pressing matter to get there. I don't have any children. I have my.
I think you froze for a second. Yeah, that's the funny part about when we're dealing with these shows intercontinental. We sometimes lose a signal. I did a show in the Dominican Republic.
I was rushing back.
But you're going in and out.
Oh, crap.
We can hear you, just can't. Your screen is frozen. Yeah, I'm having a couple of technical difficulties. Well, have every back.
Oh, just having a little bit of.
All right. Yeah, we lost her for a second, and sounds like she lost her signal down there. But Uh, we'll get it back on in a second. I know people are still coming in now, but yeah, she lost the signal. Which, again, she's overseas. So. All right. Looks like we have audio back for you.
All right.
All right. We've got audio. We're just missing picture, but we've got audio.
Awesome.
Okay. Hang on. 1 second. All right. Sherrie, I think that you're on mute.
All right.
There we go. All right. Okay. All right.
All right. We're back.
We're back. All right. Well, how long have you been overseas? How long have you been out there in Asia?
Well, next week we'll make it 2 years.
Oh, wow. Okay. And how has your life changed since you've been over there?
How has my life changed? Well, I am eating much better. Fresh fruits is readily accessible for me. I can literally take a 15-minute walk and have some of the fruit I've never even had back home. Mangoes, dragon fruit, papaya, and it's readily accessible for me. My skin has cleared up so much. I was having issues with skin care back in the States. I don't know if it was because of stress. My skin is improved. My health has improved. I'm actually engaging in yoga much more. Yeah, I've been opening up myself to more spiritual practices outside of not just Christianity, but meditation, as well as healing, Reiki healing.
Can you explain what Reiki is? Because I've heard about it. I don't know exactly what it is.
So Reiki healing is the concept of healing yourself from within, because we all hold it. We all hold that special light within to heal.
All right. And that's something that you started learning or practicing when you got out there?
Yes, I started practicing out here. I'm not a pro. I'm still learning, actually. I will say that.
Okay. Now, I know that especially living here, you feel like people almost feel like they're in a box when they live here. I mean, you seem like you're in paradise. You're free, you're living a free life. You look happy, which a lot of people here genuinely aren't.
Wow.
You look like you're enjoying life. Do you feel that you were living in a box here that wouldn't have allowed you to feel the amount of happiness that you feel there?
Yes, I felt as if I felt confined, as if I was going through a cycle, like a cycle over and over again, where I improve in one area and then there's another area there's a lapse. So it was like this rotating circle of dysfunction. It was just dysfunction.
What do you?
I'm here.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
So here it's not like that. There's no pressure to be a certain way. There's no stressors on you. You just kind of enjoy life, and and you just don't have to. You don't have to concern yourself with other people's drama, other people's emotions. If someone else is having a bad day, it has nothing to do with you. They're not taking it out on you. People are smiling. This is the land of smiles. That's essentially what it is here. And there's no hassle for you to wear a frown. People aren't frowning. Even if there's traffic jams, you're not going to see people that are completely upset or completely trying to drive you off the road, so to speak. So I would say it's a lot more carefree here, a lot more easier to manage your stressors. If anything, when you move abroad, if you do have certain issues that you haven't resolved, it shows you how to resolve it, because you don't have those outside forces or those people that are close to you that may be triggering you, or concerns that from your job, or like I said, family, or close friends, toxic people, or people that just don't mean you any good. You don't have that. So it's only you that you have to work on and improve. And that gives you the opportunity. Living abroad or living overseas, that gives you the time, that gives you the space to just grow.
But with this newer freedom that you have out there, how have you taken advantage of it living out there? How have you taken advantage of this newer, freer version of yourself?
Well, one of the ways I have done that is I create my own schedule. I'm not confined to anyone's. I don't when I'm ready to complete a task, it gets done and it gets done efficiently. When I'm ready to take a break, it's time to take a break. When there's a timeout, I'm taking the time out. That's how I deal with it. That's how I deal with life. I'm not under pressure from anyone.
Oh, wow. How's that feel? No, I'm pretty sure I know the answer, but how's it feel?
It's liberating, honestly, because coming from like, oh, I have to do this. I have to complete this task. I have to get this done before. No, that's not the case.
Do you think that you would have been able to have that same type of freedom here?
To some extent, not the same freedom. To some extent, not the same. Only extent would be is because I have my comfort zone and my family and my close friends back home. So yes, because of the support system,
Okay.
but not as freely because, as I said, the culture, the people here, they they're so carefree. One moment. Sawadika.
Okay, what language was that? No audio. Hang on 1 second. Sure.
Check out. I need meeting room. Check out.
You learn new languages.
Meeting room. Check out.
Okay. And I talk to manager.
Oh,
Yes.
ขอบคุณนะคะ
And your room number?
room number 254
254
253 253ค่ะ
All right.
Me.
No, it's all right. So what language is that you speak up there?
Thai.
Thai. Okay. How long did it take you to start learning that?
Well, I'm still learning. I know base vocabulary, how to order from a restaurant.
Okay.
So I would say, how long did it take? Since the first day I arrived, I'm still learning every day. Since the first day I arrived, I just learned the simple greetings. I did take a Thai class, a beginner's Thai class, and it helped a lot. Like I said, I'm still learning.
And out there, you're teaching, right? You're teaching English, right?
I am tutoring English, yes.
Now, how does that work out with being that you live in a country where everyone speaks Thai? How does that work with you teaching them English when you don't really speak that much Thai?
Well, the thing is that when you teach, whether that's in the classroom or you tutoring, you're actually advised not to speak English as much, because they want the students to become fully immersed in English. So even though you still learn a little bit of Thai. There's not just Thai students, there's Chinese students. And when you're teaching online as well, you have students from Turkey, Saudi Arabia, also, like I said, as I mentioned, China. So there's students from all over the world. So you're not just confined to English, and you're encouraged to not always speak that language. They really stress that students become familiar with English because that's the language that they're learning.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Now, before we actually agreed to do the interview, I took a look at your Instagram page and I saw that you're a poet and a writer.
Yes.
Do you feel that living out there has helped your creativity in terms of your poetry?
Oh, yeah.
Right? What?
Oh yeah.
What do you think changed with your writing?
What changed with my writing?
Yeah.
I would say because I met people. At first, I didn't know that there was even, my first few months, it was just traveling, just exploring different things. But I wasn't even doing any writing.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, excuse me, Katoka.
You just a minute. Admin coming for you.
Oh,
Okay.
copy
Just a
that.
minute.
Hi, Chika. Okay, so I wasn't engaging in any type of writing. I was just or performing. However, I've met creative people at different open mic venues and cafes from all over the world, and musicians, and it encouraged my writing as well. So I would say that I've been playing around with different writing forms, and it encouraged me to, because before I was going to leave, I did release a few months, about 6 months before I moved, I did complete and publish my first volume of poetry called Uncovered, Volume 1. And I was gonna, yes, I was. Thanks for plugging that in. I see what you did there. But I wasn't gonna. I was actually sitting on the second volume. I wasn't even gonna. I wasn't gonna release it. But after meeting some creative people out here at different open mic venues and cafes and musicians, they actually encouraged me to what are you sitting on? What are you waiting on? After listening to some of my poetry. So, and I released Uncovered Volume 2 while here. So this is Uncovered Volume 2. You can definitely order Volume 1 and Volume 2. It is available, and I do have some gems in there.
Yeah, I actually got it from Amazon. You have some very interesting poems. And I hate to put you on the spot, but is it possible that you can read one of your poems?
Yes. Sawadee. Excuse me. No, mapulay ka. I need Allah. Chai ka. It's open already. It's open. All right. All right. So this is actually a perfect time because I have an exclusive area that I can go into and recite something.
Okay.
So, but I mean, there's topics. There's quite a few different topics I can delve into. Like I would love to ask what people would be interested in hearing. I don't want to just throw something out there. So if anyone has any suggestions or interested in hearing a certain topic, I'd be.
If you want, you can actually type it in the chat. The type of topic you would like to hear from her poetry.
Excuse me. I'm gonna stop the video as I transition.
Sure.
But please, feel free.
All right. So while she's switching, if anyone has any idea of the types of poetry, okay. One request is your day to day. I would love to hear your concept of love. That's my personal request. Oh, somebody else is already shaking their head.
Okay. So we have love. What other topics?
All right, come on, everybody, don't be scared.
Okay, well, I'll do one.
Love, fear, nature.
Fair nature. Okay. So I'll do I'll do this one on love. There are certain topics that I haven't released yet. That's actually going to be released in volume 3. So that on there. Oh,ไม่เป็นไรค่ะขอบคุณค่ะ So there. All right. Switching gears.
Sure.
So love. Okay, so I have this this poem, which is entitled "The Body of This Essay." So for those who are writers, for those who have been in love, I did use it as a metaphor, the love of writing, as a metaphor for someone else. And it is featured in Uncovered Volume 1. And if you're familiar with Sonia Sanchez, she's a Temple University professor, as well as the Black Arts Movement poet. She is phenomenal. She actually featured the body of this essay in her anthology. So it's a very special, touching poem. And like I said, it is available in Uncovered Volume 1. You can grab it from www.sherriepoetry.com. I love it. So, like I said, it's called The Body of This Essay. I hope these gentle strokes of my pen make your heart skip a beat or a flutter. What if I caress the inner parts of your soul with every word that I utter? So excuse me if I stutter. I just can't help this spell that you put me under. And if word symmetry is anything like our body's chemistry, then never let this atom split in half, because a noun, a verb, an adjective is all that we have to keep this sentence in conjunction. You leave my thoughts in complete dysfunction. My punctuation tends to fluctuate every time I'm in your presence. I'm thankful for every grammatical lesson that you teach me, because you reach me through every section of the body. No habla español, but toca mi cuerpo. And no, I'm not speaking about the contents of a letter or an essay, more like the role that you play in my mind script. You keep me at your ink pen, ballpoint pen tip. So when we scribble inside and out of every line, we still keep every paragraph perfectly aligned. So on this dotted line, here I sign. Secretly, sacredly, my heart is yours. Hotep. Peace.
Awesome. Hang on, I'm sorry.
The finger snaps. Thank you, Marlena. It's Marlena.
There's one, this is a personal request of mine. Do you have one on freedom?
On freedom.
On living that freer life that you're living?
Yes. Yes, this also this is also a poem from Uncovered Volume 1. It's called Masterpiece.
Okay.
And I'm just going to do a snippet of this. It is a bit long. Like I said, it is featured in Uncovered Volume 1. Sometimes we find ourselves searching for our inner peace while battling our outer fears, trying to keep the sanity by fighting back the pain and tears. But if this thing called life is considered the masterpiece, then what's on display? Is it a collectible item of art, or just some clumps of clay? Either way, if our house is a masterpiece, then how do we master peace? If there's loads of boxes and clutter and stuff that we can't release, is our name on the property, or is someone else's name on the lease? Sometimes sometimes a house only function where there's a war that never ceased. So if that's the case, then let me build my house and layer it brick by brick and layer it sturdy. Because if the foundation isn't strong, then anything stands a chance to hurt me. And if the rooms are and if the rooms are filled with other people's belongings and baggage, then yeah, toss it all out because you don't need to have it. There's no unnecessary time for pack ratting lies and secrets. That's only a means of hoarding. So keep working to build your masterpiece and always keep the property and a copy of those master keys because you are responsible for how you master peace. Peace. Blessings.
Snap, snap, snap. Wow.
Hey Gina, thank you.
Yeah, that was good. That was good. Those words hit my soul a little bit, just a little bit.
It's your soul.
Just a little bit, just a little bit.
Just
But
a little bit.
Those poems are amazing.
Thank you.
You feel that they represent life for you now?
No, only certain parts of that poem I still resonate with because yes, you're going to experience different stressors or different things that come up, or even some past trauma that may come up or arise, or things that you thought you recovered from or uncovered. You see what I did there? No, yep. But I'm playing.
I got you.
But even if there's things that come up that you believe that you have already dealt with, you still have to remember that you essentially and your creator, who is known by many names and different forces, you are essentially responsible for how you maintain and master your own peace. So I still, being overseas, I still have to remind myself that I am the master of who, like, I am the way, how I master my stressors, how I should master my emotions is ultimately up to me. I'm responsible.
All right. Okay. So those stress, do you still struggle with those stressors being over there?
No, actually, no, because I'm not up close. I'm not up close with everything that I experienced and dealt with back in the States. It's not here immediately. I live in the moment and what's happening right now, what's happening in this day, what's happening later when I'm able to get lunch, or the people that I interact with. I have no reason to delve into the past. It no longer serves me.
Yeah. That's something a lot of people need to understand. I think just in general, I think that people all over the world, but especially here in America, I think that we need to learn how to no longer subscribe to things that no longer serve us. And it's such a big thing here. A lot of people, they worry about what this person said, about what this person's thinking about them, how the world perceives them. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. How much money are they really putting in your pocket? What do you really gain from their opinion? Yeah. I actually had to say this to someone recently. I had an issue with someone and I had to really think about it. And someone said, well, this person no longer wants to be friends with you. They want to be out of your life. And I had to think about the fact that this person will literally add nothing to my life. But having them around can cost me things. They can cost me my sanity. Wow. They can cost me my sense of peace. They can cost me my happiness. And I think that sometimes people need to understand that. I think that people need to understand, just let this stuff go. It's not worth holding on to. And I think that a lot of people are holding on to things that they don't need to because they either don't know any better or they're trying to fit in, which I think is a really, really big thing here. I think a lot of people miss out on a lot in life because it's kind of like the square peg, round hole mentality. They're trying to fit into a life that they were never meant to fit in.
Wow.
It's kind of like you get people that will go to a job just because the job pays this type of money, but they're miserable. And they're doing this job because they were raised and taught by society that this is what you're supposed to do. It appears to me that I think with society in general, we were taught to be productive and rich, but not healthy and happy. And you're often taught that if you want to be healthy and happy, you're going to sacrifice being productive and rich as if that's a bad thing. If you think about most people that are really, really rich, how happy do you think they really are? They're productive, they're successful, but how much of life do you think that they really, really enjoy? So I think that we, at times here in this country, or just around the world, not just here, we put on this facade, just tuck our heads and try to fit into this life that we know doesn't feel right. This life that we know that we don't enjoy. I mean, think about how many people wake up every day and hate their job, but it pays the bills. Or how many people you know that are in relationships that they hate, but society told them, well, you're 30 now, so you should be married. You're 35 now, you should have kids. You know, what you did, I have so much respect for, because I think that more of us need to do that. We need to just say, screw it. I don't want this here anymore. I want to live my life and be happy. And you're taking the opportunity to do that. You're an example. I mean, think about what you said. You left this country and got healthier. I'm pretty sure that you probably had more things here. You had family here. I'm pretty sure you could have probably been making more money living in this country. You could have had more of the quote unquote American dream in this country, but would you have been happy? I mean, you would have been happy with your family. Would you have been happy with all of your life? I mean, that's something to. I'm sorry.
No, I want you to finish.
But I mean, the question is, what would you have been? This is a question for you yourself.
I would have been making more money. I would have had my support system very close to me. Also, like I said, I would have been making more money, and my closest friends and family definitely by my side. At the same time, I am fulfilled. I'm completely fulfilled here, because although the money that I have, although the money that I make, it's not astronomically high. You know, I'm not rich, and I'm not even trying to get. That's not even a status quo for me. My status quo is to make sure that I am at a place where I am totally one with myself, fully secure, fully confident. And that's the ultimate success. Success is not based upon how much money you make. Success is where you are, whatever issues or obstacles or battles you dealt with, and how you actually conquered them, how you actually improved, and how you mastered whatever triggers you've had. That's the ultimate meaning of success. I'm not saying that chasing money. I'm not saying that trying to go after your first million or your 2 million. I'm not saying that those are not goals that we should be trying to obtain, or those are not goals that are to be, like I said, that are not to be attained. It's just that what are you sacrificing while you're trying to obtain that? Because if you're going to have to sacrifice your peace, your happiness, your relationships, then is it really worth it?
Yeah. You're right. It's so ironic, because we sometimes put on a facade to make it seem like we're enjoying this torture that we're putting ourselves through. It's a term that I tend to use a lot. I say that a lot of us commit slow motion suicide. We're unhappy, so we do things that we know hurts us in the long run. We know I shouldn't eat this cheeseburger because it's going to clog my heart, but you don't care because it makes you feel good temporarily. I know I shouldn't have this drink, but I'm going to feel better when it's over. So we have that drink. I don't like this person that I work with, but this job is going to give me some money, so it's going to temporarily make me happy. And I know I'm kind of going away from the original premise of the show, but a lot of us tend to do that. Unfortunately, a lot of us,
we do.
We turn ourselves into things that we hate to fit in to a society that, again, we don't like. Like, I'm going to show something that not necessarily show, but this is something I want everyone that's watching to think about. Have you ever heard about the three faces? It's an old proverb that the Japanese use.
Yes, I'm familiar with it.
Okay. Well, for those that aren't, I'm going to show it to you. The Japanese believe that you have three faces. The first face is the face that you show the world. The second face is the face that you show to your close family. And the third face is the face that you never show anyone, which is the truest reflection of you. Now, I want everybody to really, really think about it. How many of us are showing that second and third face, but we can't even face the first one? There's a lot of people out there that can't face the real them because society has told them that they're weird. Society's think about the things that you wanted to do growing up, and you stopped doing it because people say, "Oh, that's childish. You shouldn't be doing that. That's what children do. You're not going to make any money doing that." I mean, really think about it. You know, think about the things that would have made you happy that you're not doing. So now you're working a dead end job, even if it's paying well, a job that's not fulfilling you, a job that's not giving you purpose. And I think that adds to a stress that a lot of us have. And I think a lot of us tend to stick with that because we're afraid to step out and do something else. We're afraid to do what you did, to just say, screw it. I'm going to go to another country and go be happy. I'm going to go live the life that I want. I mean, I saw pictures of where you are. It is beautiful. You guys tropical. You have animals walking around. You have healthier food. And the way that you described just how nice the people are. You said that you can leave your phone out and nobody will steal it. That's, to anyone that's heard it.
There's times where honestly, a friend of mine left their keys in their motorbike and overnight parked and came back outside frantically like, oh my goodness, we're like, is my motorbike still out there? Still there overnight.
Wow.
What are the odds of that happening in Philadelphia?
Yeah. Or Brooklyn or Irvington or any major city. What's the odds of?
Yes.
Yeah, you leaving that there. And that's got to be a different kind of peace. Just that right there.
Yes.
Just knowing that you're happy. And
you're secure.
Yeah.
And you don't have to look over your shoulder. You don't have to worry about someone catcalling you or calling you out your name for that matter. That's not the case.
Before you moved over there, did you actually know what happiness meant?
Did I know what happiness meant? I had moments of happiness, yes. It was defined by who I was with or the location I was in or other. It was dictated on other people. But stepping outside and literally moving to the other side of the world by myself, I learned that where happiness comes from within. So not just because of the people that I had around me, not because of where we were, but honestly, just being by myself was just the most fulfilling, or is the most fulfilling moments that I have. I'm an only child. I grew up as an only child. I have my cousins that I grew up with. However, I have a baby sister now. Actually, she's not a baby anymore. She's 6 years old.
Oh wow!
But growing up, I didn't have siblings. I just had my cousins. So I do have that only child syndrome. But nevertheless, coming and traveling here by myself and not knowing one single person when I arrived off the flight, and literally just finding my way and finding different people and connecting with different people and finding out about hair care and skincare products and meeting people along the way, even the people that have, because there are African Americans that or people of African descent that do live here, and it's a community within itself. So even meeting them and kind of being embraced by that community has been so encouraging as well, because you do still need a network of people to socialize with. That's just essentially what we are. We are social creatures. But my first 6 or 7 months, I didn't know a soul here, and it's been a beautiful journey. It's been there's been times of distress. There's been times where I've been misunderstood because I didn't know the language. There's been times I've been lost. There's been times where my cell phone lost charge. But being able to resolve those by yourself is one of the most liberating feelings you can ever have. It's distressing in the moment. Don't get me wrong. But it's the most liberating feeling when you're able to solve a problem or solve a challenge and get through it. It's almost like you can do anything.
Yeah. It's almost as if you're at peace out there.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, did you struggle with trying to maintain the 3 faces that we spoke about earlier?
Yes.
You did. Okay. You still struggle with it there?
Do I struggle with it here? I would say I struggle more so with the 3 faces when it comes to being around people that I don't know. Now, being by myself, I don't struggle with it. I know exactly who I am. I know my triggers. I know what gets to me, gets under my skin. But I would say living in a country where I don't speak the language fluently, I do struggle with the face of around the people that I don't know. Yeah, I struggle with that.
Okay.
But my family and friends, they know me. They know the real Sherrie. They know Ree. So there's no holding punches with them. There's no putting on a facade. Or if I'm calling, I know who I can call when I need to vent or I'm having a breakdown, because those times do happen. That happens. But I know who I can rely on. I know who I can trust and talk to. But the most challenging face I do have with maintaining is the face with people I don't know.
Okay. So the face that you show the public.
Yes.
Okay.
The public face.
Okay. We're actually going to dig into that a little bit more with the audience in a couple of minutes. The fun part, my favorite part of that exercise is getting people to describe the characteristics of the face that they don't show anyone. A lot of people can't do that because a lot of people, in all honesty, can't face themselves.
Yeah.
Do you know how hard it is for the average person to say, I'm afraid? Especially as a man. As a man, you know how hard it is to just say, I'm afraid, I'm hurt, I'm scared, I'm sad. Especially being a black man. Because, as a black man, we're taught that we can't show those emotions. Just by society in general. So that face, we as black men, or just people in general, I'm not just going to say black men, we hide it. And we mask it. We actually put another mask on top. So we actually a layered mask, and we actually start to blend our mask together. And we actually at times start to convince ourselves that second mask is the real one. That second mask that we're showing our friends and family is the real us. It's not. And a lot of us can't face that. So just for the audience, as a heads up, I'm actually going to ask you all to describe your 3 masks in a few minutes. But Sherrie, I really want to thank you. We're not ending it yet because I actually want to open it up to the audience a little bit now. This one's going to be a little bit different from most shows that I do. I want to have a little bit more user participation from the audience because I want to see what's holding people from living freely, from living the life that they want. Because again, most people are just existing. Most people are just doing what they have to do to get by, or what society tells them that they should be doing, or what society tells them happiness is. I really wonder what is stopping people from taking that next step to live freely and be happy. It's an interesting one. Like I think of my mom, and I make fun of my mom all the time because my mom will walk out of the house with purple pants, an orange shirt, lime green lipstick, and silver shoes. And I'm like, what are you doing? And I think my mother also does it to make people mad. But her thing is, I dress how I want. I don't care about what anybody else thinks. So I mess with her more. My mother bought shiny gold stretch pants. Like reflective gold stretch pants. And I'm like, what are you doing? My mother said, I'm happy. This is what I want to wear.
Yeah.
You know? And a lot of people, they're not willing to do that. A lot of people aren't willing to just say, you know what? Yeah, I'm just gonna go out there with some shiny green stretch pants and a chef's hat with one mitten on and some flip flops because we're so worried about society, about what people think about us, about what we think that we should be doing. So I'm gonna open it up to the audience now. For those of you that are coming on for the first time, the way that we do our Q&A section is if you have a question or comment, you use the raise hand option. If you go to the top or bottom of your screen, depending on your device, there should be a button there that says more. Once you click more, there should be an option there to raise hands. If that doesn't work, you can type your question or comment in the chat. If all else fails, you can take yourself off mute. Let me know that you have a comment, and then I'll acknowledge you. So here's a question for the audience. How many of you are living the life that you want? Not the life that society is telling you that you should have, what you genuinely want to do. Let's see. Again, you can raise your hands. Because I really want to hear it. If you think that you are, great. If you don't think that you are, ooh, everybody's quiet. Okay, Queen Diva, you are not. Why not?
Because we live in a world where there's restrictions. Restrictions. We can't do everything that we want to do. Leave it up to me. I walk on the street butt ass naked. But of course, sometimes I don't know what to wear. Sometimes I just want to go in there and put a hat on and walk outside, but I know I can't do that. I'd be arrested. You know what I'm saying? But yeah.
Well, there actually is a resort in Jamaica where you can do that.
Wow.
So.
There is. We live in a world where we always got, unfortunately, we say we're not concerned about what other people think, but realistically we are. So because of that puts a lot of strain on us to be a certain way or act a certain way. You know what I mean? So are we living free? No, we're not.
Yeah, I personally don't think so either. I think, again, because we're so worried about what society tells us or, what others tell us, and we wind up not being happy because we're trying to fit in with them. And then at the end of the day, even when we fit in, we hate ourselves even more. So we're even more unhappy because we're trying to fit into what they want. Larita wrote something in the chat. Let's see. Fear of being a failure, and believe it or not, being successful. Okay. This is what you're working through. Yeah. That's another thing that holds us back too. All right, hang on. The Kima, hang on 1 second. If you want, you can. Again, if you want to speak, you can. It's not a problem. If you don't feel comfortable, again, I can call you through the chat.
Based on what Larita was saying, I'm sorry. Based on what Larita is saying, she's right. Fear is one of our biggest obstacles, and that's our biggest hold down. Even being successful, right on what she just said, even being successful, that when you become successful, your whole surrounding change. And even your friends change towards you. Everyone changed towards you. So can you accept that? That itself is fearful. So I do understand what she's saying.
Fear is huge. Yeah, I think that's one of the things that holds a lot of people back. It's just that fear of the unknown, that fear of breaking your first habit. Because I think a lot of us, we hide in safe spaces. We build our own little safe spaces, and we are so afraid to get outside of that safe space. Or the thing that I hear all the time is, I have a wall up. I have a wall to protect myself. Do you know why you have a wall? Because that person behind that wall is weak and vulnerable. So instead of working on strengthening that person behind that wall, most people just tend to build the wall higher.
Yes.
But you're not addressing your problem. You're still not living a life. You're still hiding. And after a while, you get tired of hiding. Hang on, I'm going to go to one of the comments that I missed. All right, I'm not living the life that I want. A lot of goals that I set out to complete, but they seem so far away. And it's so true, because I think that we take we make a mountain out of a molehill, and it's so easy to do it because we start to let doubt creep in. We start to let fear creep in. We start to let others tell us what to do. When in all honesty, you just have to understand it just takes one step.
Yes.
The biggest part of running a mile is that first step. If you can't at least take the first step, you'll never take that mile. Take that first step. Okay, cool. Let's see how step 2 feels. See how step 3 feels. Good.
And if I could add on to that is, this comes from a writer standpoint, of course. Mm-hmm. Are you writing those goals down? And because what I've come to do is I write a weekly goal out. I write my weekly goals out. Also write my monthly goals out, my 5-year goals, my 10-year goals. And by writing it out, because the Bible even says, write the vision and make it plain. And not to throw Christianity into it, but that's what we should do. We should write that vision down, and every day we should be taking steps to attaining those goals. Even if it could be something like you want to lose 10 pounds, or you want to write a book, or you want to save money. Every day your actions have to be aligned with that. And if your actions or your behaviors or your habits are not aligned with what your end goal is, then you have to question. You have to question, what's stopping you? Is it you? Is it your support system? Is it the people that surround you? Because then something has to change.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I think that sometimes we let people think for us.
Yeah.
And I think it is becoming more and more common in that they talk us out of doing things. Sometimes it's maybe our parents, sometimes it's our great grandparents, So one thing, I spent a lot of time around older people as a child. So I would sometimes listen to them try to warn me not to do certain things because of their own traumas that they may have gone through. So they pass that fear on to us. So now we're afraid to take that next step because of them, because of their fear that they never got over. So if you think about it, a lot of us still think that our goal in life is to go to school, graduate, get married, get a job, have children. And the reason is because we were taught that. We were told that that's what life is, but have we really thought about, do I really want to have kids? Do I really want to have this job? The biggest question I think we often forget to ask ourselves is why? Why? How many of us question why we're doing things?
Yeah.
A lot of us are just doing it because we just think that's what we're supposed to do. But if you really sit there and, like you said, write it down, okay, this is what I'm doing. This is why I'm doing it. This is what it takes to do it. This is what I can gain from doing this. This is what I can lose from doing this. If you really sit there and take the time to do that, you make a lot of changes in your life. So, Queen Diva, you had your hand up.
I promise I won't be talking too much tonight, but anyway.
No, I want everybody to talk.
I love it.
Yeah.
One thing that works for me when it comes to goals, it's all about satisfying that ego. When that ego is satisfied, you're able to do more. So I used to make these goals, and they weren't really realistic. The time frame was not realistic. So what I started doing, not only do I write them down, but I make short-term goals, because when you accomplish those short-term goals, it satisfies your egos and give you the courage and the strength you need to go on to make it a bit longer-term goal. Yep. So making short-term goals and realistic goals, that's the key to completing that goal, that bigger goal.
I know one of the certifications that I have is in what they call root cause analysis. So when you take one of the things with the root cause analysis is you take a look at a certain situation. So in my case, I would often do investigations. So you take a look, okay, this is the incident. And then you start to go backward into your causal factors. What was the lead up? What caused this? Okay, this caused it. The incident happened. What can we do to make sure that it doesn't happen again, or to make sure that we attain the outcome that we're looking for? A lot of us don't do that. A lot of us don't look at these. We don't look at these causal factors. What got us here? Why don't I do this? Which is going to be the next question, but Larita had her hand up.
Hey guys, I turned my camera on, but it's quite dark where I am, and I actually got the driver to turn the music down for me. So basically, I just wanted to comment as far as what you just said. I had to take a step back and reanalyze myself and all the things that I've been through in my life, you know, even going with doing the podcast with you and with the guys, and then taking a step further, you know, participating in what I'm a part of is the Grateful Call. They gave me the courage to find my voice. I knew my voice on paper, but I didn't know my voice physically to be able to voice it into the world. And so I started to be able to do that. And so recently I started doing videos, short videos on my social media, which I've always talked about doing, but never did because I was just fearful of what somebody would think. And man, somebody's not going to like it. And they're just going to judge me by what I say. Oops, what if I curse? But at the end of the day, I had to learn how to start being Larita Shantae Phelps. I had to start learning who I am. I had to start living for me. I was just existing for almost 43 years instead of actually living my life. And so I've gotten to the point now, I have to start not caring so much so what people think, because at the end of the day, the only people who matter about of their opinions are my kids. And even still with them, valuing their opinion would mean I want the lifestyle of something that they have. When we value people's opinions, we want the lifestyle that they have. We want something that they have. When we buy into their opinions, we buy into their lifestyle. And if you buy into the opinion of Pete, who's on a corner, being a broke hustler, drinking 40s every day, what does he have that's really offering to give you advice-wise? There's nothing that he has that can really better your life. So why are you buying into that opinion? And so I had to learn to do that. Even with people that are in high-standing positions per se, they aren't always happy. They may, as you were talking about those three masks, they tend to have the mask that they show people, the mask that they think people, that they feel that people see behind closed doors, and the people that they really are. And I had to learn to analyze that, thanks to you. And I had to learn who I am. And I had to face that and start fixing it. And instead of repairing my mask that was kind of cracked and kind of broken and put back together with glue and tape, I had to actually shed those masks and be comfortable with who I am and be comfortable with not caring what other people think, because at the end of the day, what other people think of me is none of my damn business. And that's just what it is.
Get it?
Yeah. And I know that was a lot to say. I tried to get everything in because once I get off the mute, my kids are going to turn the music right back up because they're driving. But I just want to commend you. Forgive me for not remembering your name, from taking that leap of faith, for jumping and moving to Thailand and embracing living instead of just existing. And as a writer myself and as a poet, I get it. I see your artistic creations and everything that you speak. And I do commend you for you taking that leap with not a support system per se in place, but doing it anyway, because a lot of us don't do that. A lot of us, we live as bugs in a jar with the lid closed and live in those parameters instead of stepping outside of that jar and just living what the world and the universe has to offer us. And yeah, I'll stop there because I'll keep going. But yeah.
Thank you so much, Larita. You have no idea how much that means to me. Like, let's connect.
Very, very welcome. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
Definitely.
Are you on social media?
I definitely am. I'll put it in the chat, and then James can actually connect us. Either way, we'll be connected. That's fine.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, ditto.
Definitely. See, the purpose of this was to have a conversation, not just to interview one person. We really, again, Sherrie, we're trying to be like you,
Stop it.
We're trying to get to your level of peace. So, all right, here's the next question for the group. How many of you aren't living, you're just maintaining? How many of you are just maintaining, living the status quo that you were told that you were supposed to live? Let's see if that goes in the chat. Queen Diva said,
oh. How you doing, Armand? Thanks for joining in.
Absolutely. Thank you for the invite. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for coming on.
Absolutely. Hey, hello, everyone. Hello.
How are you? Well, since you took your mic off, that first question might go to you then. It was a trick. It was a setup.
Facts. Are you talking about the question that you just asked?
Correct. Yes.
Well, awesome. I'll definitely hop in on that. Personally, I think I'm definitely living, thriving. Me and Sherrie actually met in Thailand. I went to Thailand in Thailand for about 4 months. Just recently graduated and now I'm working full time. Got a couple things on the side. Thank you. Nice dress. But overall, pushing towards becoming my next personal best. But I definitely know that unfortunately a lot of people are just surviving, maintaining, aren't really living their full potential overall. And I just believe it's because we were never taught it. You know, we've been taught how to be employees. We've been taught, you know, how to run the race, but we've never been taught how to be sustainable. You know, we've never been taught how to create something overall. So it's been a blessing to be able to, you know, come in contact with so many different people who've, you know, blessed me with knowledge, because a lot of people are trapped in their environment, their comfortable environment. And that comfortable environment, for many people, it isn't even comfortable in terms of like what comfort should be. You know, it isn't like, oh, we're in Thailand, we're chilling, it's peaceful. You know, it's like hectic, it's guns, it's, you know, I gotta survive, literally survival of the fittest, and being trapped in that environment for even 15 years, you know, develops a mindset of scarcity and survival, and overall it isn't living. It isn't what we're here to do. So man, powerful question. I hope if anyone's on this call, if they're not, you know, truly living, to go do something different, you know, change something in your day to day, because if you're doing the same thing, nothing's gonna change. So be that catalyst, be that change in your life, because nobody can do it for you. But thank you so much for creating a space where we can talk about stuff like this. Early and already spitting game, so I literally love it.
No, I appreciate it.
Yeah. And that's and doing something different is where we sometimes we're lacking, because even if it just is a matter of taking a different route to work, or going to the gym twice a week, and increasing it to 3 times a week, you have to do something different in order to gain different results, or else it's insanity. Insanity is repeating the same process and expecting a different outcome. That's not thriving at all.
Yeah. It's so ironic because we sometimes confuse peace and happiness with survival and safe spaces. We think that, okay, I'm in my safe space, so I'm happy. Are you? That just means that you don't have to be afraid for a couple of minutes. That's it. But you're not happy. It's just like, okay, I'm not getting shot at now. But you're not happy because as soon as you walk out that door, you have to turn back into somebody that you don't want to be. That's not happiness. That's survival. And we've been taught, and I'm turning this, I know I'm talking about the Black community, because some of the community I've been a part of. Well, I'm, physically a part of, but no, I've been around multiple types of people just in my life. But we confuse safety or stability with happiness. And another thing that we often confuse is ego. If someone strokes our ego, that means they're treating us right. If you ever think about it, you'll find a business, and the businesses may be charging you more money, or may have products for you that are worse than a business that is good for you, but because they're nice to you and polite to you, we'll go there. Because for some reason, we're still looking for that almost like pat on the head. Or we're still almost looking for that confirmation, because we don't have the confidence within ourselves and within our own ability and that own self-love, which I think is a big thing with people of color. It's a huge thing that we've been taught to not love ourselves. We've been taught that we're not good enough. The whole mentality of, if you're a person of color, you have to work twice as hard to get half the results. The fact that we've normalized that is a sign of insanity. The fact that we now know that it's normal that we have to work twice as hard to get half the results. Instead of us saying, man, screw that, screw the society, I'm gonna go build my own. I'm gonna go build my own business.
Yeah.
That's part of why I started doing podcasting, because I started listening to podcasts and I said, yeah, but I don't like what this guy is saying. I don't like what this guy is saying either. And, I would often hear people talk about the issues that are affecting the Black community affecting the world. And I will always just say, okay, well, we're talking about it. What are we doing to fix it? You know, a lot of the issues that I bring up, people say they're taboo, but I'm like, but we're having these conversations in our houses. When are we going to come out as a collective and have them and actually work on a solution for them? So, but I kind of went off on a tangent.
Yeah, and recreating your definition of what freedom is. It's and a lot of times we stay boxed in and confined, not just within our social circle and our family circle, but we think that what we're experiencing, our discomfort, is the end of the world, or what I've been through is just the worst thing that could happen. Do you understand that? Do we understand that there are children in Southeast Asia and the Philippines and Eastern Africa or Southern Africa that are starving and we have the nerve to complain or rant or believe that what we're experiencing is just the totality of a disaster? Not the case. So if we just broaden our experience or broaden our thinking, we'd be able to realize that, dang, I can actually get over whatever obstacle I'm facing.
Yeah.
And what y'all saying, that it's crazy, because I truly believe that's why people who come from other countries succeed so much more in entrepreneurial ventures in America, because America was really created for businessmen, essentially. Straight white men who did whatever they did to make money. Thankfully, it's a time where we can take advantage of it. We can take advantage of the system, change the game, make millions of dollars. But we've been conditioned in our privilege, in our actuality, less measures, just to be able to be born here. And because of that, because we have so many monetary and just all our physical aspects to the day-to-day, we got the phones, we got the PlayStation, we got the clothes, we got the laptops, the iPads, everything, versus people who come from places of disadvantage, so once they get here, it's like, oh man, it's straight game time. I'm about to take all of advantage. And they make the most of it. And then we're like, they're taking shit. Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, come on.
I'm losing my country.
So yeah. How about that? Actually, wow.
It's truly, it's crazy. But it's that's a new one. We're conditioned in our privilege. Crazy, because most people don't even know it, because we looking at our situation as if it's the only situation. And that's why it's so important to get out and travel, whether it be another town, another state. Once you travel outside the country, it's the next level, because you like, oh man, this is really different. But seeing that different really allows you to just break down your subconscious thinking of what is normal. If y'all haven't gotten to travel, or man, just
let's go.
Go somewhere. Go somewhere.
It's like that. If I can interject, it's like that. It's having that immigrant mentality. Just be, and we are essentially immigrants as well. Actually, can I share one poem, please?
Please, yes.
It's called Immigrant Mentality, and it is featured in Uncovered Volume 1.
Hang on.
Yeah, so it's so but it's called Immigrant Mentality, and what we're talking about, it just makes it just ties in everything, and it goes like this. How must we succeed when half of our young children cannot even read because their young mothers are obsessed with hair weaves? Meanwhile, fathers in the home seem to have no need. And as a Black, sometimes I feel I have no need in this world that looks at me as an outcast. How can we move on without knowledge of our past? United we must stand, but not when one brother has a gun in his hand and my grandpop's afraid of where the next stray bullet's gonna land. Technically speaking, it's called extermination, but sometimes on our part, it's just a lack of determination. And some may call it genocide, but numbers hardly lie. So yeah, we can call it death by suicide. Because we inject the drugs in our own veins. And as a joke, we move strangers in front of moving trains. And tragically enough, we sell our own mom's crack cocaine. So tell me exactly who causes the pain. Let's not blame those who raped their daughter and leave them stripped and insane, because after all, that's not even my little girl, because we have no connection to others because of our own small bubbled world. But it ain't about nothing as long as I get paid. Man, our ancestors must be turning in their graves because we right now don't understand, or maybe we just don't give a damn that they literally work like slaves and made sacrifices like immigrants to pave the way for their future leaders and descendants. But I'm not worried about nothing as long as my Jordans, they're the most recent. I'm just trying to keep my timepiece flossy and decent. But see, I digress because we've come so far in history and made so much progress, but yet some of us still don't know who Araminta Ross could be and how many she carried on her back. You think she gave a damn about a hair weave track while she was risking lives through those underground railroad tracks? And why? Why do we get angry when other ethnic groups come into our hoods and raise up businesses in such a short period of time, but yet in the bank, we don't got a damn dime, or yet a savings account, and won't take the time to teach our young toddlers how to count? But yeah, let me break down a minor difference. Let's do minus and dividends. Before immigrants come to a foreign land, they keep the youngest with the eldest to show them the tricks of the trade. And while doing so, they teach them to preserve instead of degrade. In the same token, they maintain good grades. Better yet, they go for honors. So when they cross seas, they quickly outshine us. They value education because it's not easily awarded to them. But we look down on college because we can't afford it. But if we knew the difference between capital and investments, then we know it's the future that we'd invest in. Because then, only then, we make sacrifices like immigrants to pave the way for our future leaders and descendants. And then we wouldn't have to borrow our money. We'd actually lend it. Hotep. And so,
Yeah. Yeah.
so
Yeah. I mean, it's so right. And it's, I actually have a quote that I say, and it ties directly into that, because
what is
we
that?
are privileged, but we think that we are more privileged than we are. Privilege implies that you actually have something. We don't really have much. So a quote that I tend to say to people is that a lot of people tend to be stubborn. They're stuck in their ways. I'm not changing. Stubbornness is a habit for the privileged. You can only be stubborn if you already got it. You can only be stubborn if you have everything that you need. How many of us actually have what we need? I mean, just think about the question that I asked. How many of us are happy?
Yeah.
How many of us have what we want in life? How many of us have what we need in life? So if you do not have that, you do not have the right to be stubborn. Right. There are certain people that says, well, I'm not doing X, Y, Z. Why? Because I don't feel like it. That's great.
Yeah.
That's a nice sentiment. But I've actually made leaps and bounds over a lot of people in my life because they had that mentality. They had that stubbornness. Because they're so stubborn, they're afraid to evolve. And any species that fails to evolve goes extinct. And that's something that most people don't understand. If you pay attention to have you ever heard of a lizard called the Jesus Christ lizard?
Wow, I haven't. No,
it's a lizard that runs on top of the water. So this lizard was constantly being eaten. So they evolved to be able to run on top of the water. So now they're not being hunted by their predators. The other lizards that didn't, they're still constantly being eaten. And they still think their life is sweet because that's what they've always done. While these other lizards that are running on top of the water are running laps around them. So, Marlena, I got you. Then I actually have more questions.
Wow.
Marlena, your mic's off.
Did I have my hand up?
You do, yeah.
I didn't mean to, but I mean, I wanted to, but I got to say something. I got to say thank you, man. I am so inspired and blessed by you tonight. I mean, I'm usually quiet and I wanted to sit back and absorb, but I just got to say thank you. And, I'm working on it. I'm not quite there. I mean, I love to travel. Wow, I would love to go abroad. But my happiness right now, being a cancer survivor for 2 years now.
Wow.
Yes, I live my best life. I mean, I make my own decisions. Right now, I got my visions and my goals written down. I mean, I've enrolled in furthering my education. I'm on my way. I'm doing my thing. I take walks, I work out, I make my own schedule. So, I can say I'm almost there, but not quite. God is first in my life, and I'm blessed. This year, I claim complete healing from any past hurts or pain or anything. So, I'm working on it, but I just want to say God bless you, and you are super, I'm sure, just super talented for your age, and just blessed and very knowledgeable, and I'm inspired. So God bless you.
Oh, God bless you, Miss Marlena. That's amazing. You said you're 2 years. 2 years you've recovered from cancer?
Yes, I said, I was diagnosed in 2016. I went through a battle. Yeah, they told me I was gonna not make it. I'm here. Lost all my hair. Skin was dark. God has restored everything. I wasn't walking on my own. Now I'm working out, running on the treadmill.
Wow.
Yes, God is good. God is good. That's been good to me.
You are amazing. You are successful in your own right. In your own right, Miss Marlena. That is so encouraging.
You're living. You said you're living free. All right. That actually.
Are you on social media, Miss Marlena?
Yes, I am. Marlena Patty on Instagram and Facebook. Yeah.
Marlena, can you put it in the chat? So Sherrie can have it.
Okay. Thanks a lot, James.
Thank you. That statement actually ties into my next question for everyone. What was your original plan for life, and what happened?
I would love to hear that. I would love to hear it.
Because some people, their original plan.
I would love to hear that.
Yeah, because some people may say, I wanted to be a doctor. What happened? I had kids. Okay.
People been quiet. There's Miss Queen Diva. Is she here? What about Nakima? Kima?
I'm here.
And Gina and Crystal.
I'm here.
Armand. Open up the floor, Miss Larita.
Don't be calling me out.
I'm sorry.
I'm glad you called me out. I got a brief moment. All right. So my original dreams and aspirations were to become a singer. It didn't work out in that path. I do sing, but I discovered my talent for being a lyricist. That connected me to various different people, and so that strengthened my writing because I became more confident in my writing. And now my writing, from being in the third grade writing poetry, like I have a poem from my third grade age, I can go back and look back at that and see how far I've grown, even from doing a spoken word piece in a competition. I thought I was good, and I got my behind spanked in that competition, which made me come back that next year. No, literally, it made me come back that next year. So I was like, yeah, I got it. And everybody, the judge was like, yo, she's got it. And then this guy came behind me and he blew me out the water, which just made me step my game up 5 more levels. And I wound up winning that same competition, I think about 3 or 4 times in spoken word and about 3 times in the singing. I was able to go to the Nuyorican, which is, the Apollo of all poetry.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. We have to connect.
Yeah, not as a feature yet, but they were very surprised that I was, I was very fearful of stepping on the stage, and they were like, yo, their words were, she hustled us, y'all. She's not an amateur. She got up here and blew it out the water.
Oh, wow.
I was very shy, and I'm still very soft-spoken for the most part. I'm kind of an introvert. Most people don't believe that, but that's where my journey is, and it's taken me to being a feature in a book as my first published piece. I'm a feature in a book with the likes of multimillionaires who have that platform that I'm striving to get to. So that's where I am now, while working on my next step and my next journey. And my next, and so forth. And yes. So I didn't do it out of fear. I didn't do it because I was a young mom. I didn't do it because people told me that I couldn't. I didn't do it because I let people get in my head. I didn't do it because of my past. I didn't do it because I didn't think I could do it. And yeah.
Cool. All right.
Connect.
Yeah, definitely.
Connect.
Oh yeah, we gonna hook this all up. We one of the things I try to do with every episode is the conversation doesn't stop with that one episode. It doesn't.
Yeah.
You know, with my, I did an episode with a couple from Africa, and the actual title of the episode was "Bridging the Gap: African versus African American," which was supposed to be one episode. It turned into a 3-episode series and a group chat that we now have where we constantly talk to each other. So these things are supposed to be conversations. It's not a one-off. So this tonight is not going to be a one-off. We're going to do this again.
You're the link. You're the plug.
We're going to do this again. Like I said, with a lot of people, they're probably going to comment on it tomorrow because it's Friday night. Even though it's COVID, it's still Friday night. So, some people, they might be in the house with their drink or their smoke, or they might just want to spend time with the family. So I get it. But a lot of people I'm willing to bet are going to be reaching out to me on social media tomorrow. So, dude, when are you doing this again? So
what about the others? Because we opened the floor up, right?
I love to answer the question.
Please.
So it's crazy. Growing up in inner city Cleveland, Ohio, I had really no idea of really what I wanted to be, what I wanted to do, and I feel like a lot of people are either pressured by their parents or their environment to promote those dreams. So you might have a parent who went to college, did something, so they're like, hey, I want you to, I'm gonna push you towards this area. So then you're like, oh, okay, I might want to do this when I grow up. Or you really don't know. You seeing people doing things in the hood, you either hustling or hooping. You feel me? People aren't, you don't have much options. And you see that and you're like, oh man, okay, that could be the vibe, So I truly really had an idea. I was a heavier set guy. I was big growing up. I was pounds. I lost 100 pounds. Blessing.
Wow. Congrats.
Oh.
So everyone thought I was going to play football. I was a lineman. But I really, at the time, I really didn't like working out. It wasn't, too big of a fan. But people pressured me to it. And I knew I hated it. But I always said I was going to be successful. But my way was through books. I went to school, made sure I was persistent on it, went to college debt-free, studied abroad a couple of times. I'm working, full time now. I'm a licensed life insurance underwriter, building, so doing that. But overall, just helping people understand the game in all actuality, because all life is a game, especially in America when we're playing capitalism, it's literally a game. But think about you hopping on it's funny, my mom just got a PlayStation 5, right? My mom hasn't played a game since she was a kid, so she literally think about her hopping on this game against me who actually played this game. She's swept up and down the thing, and that's literally how the game is being played. And nobody's willing to say, hey bro, this is really how you play the game, and because of that, we've just been button mashing, just trying to do anything to survive. But after a while, your hand gonna start cramping up, you're gonna get some blisters, you see what I'm saying? You're gonna go through that struggle. So overall, it's being able to navigate this journey and really, self-educating. Hey, if y'all haven't watched this movie yet, watch this movie called One Night in Miami.
I heard it was amazing. I didn't see it yet. I heard it was really good.
It's about Malcolm X, Muhammad Ali, Sam Cooke, and Jim Brown, all just vibing as people. And it's crazy. It's a powerful.
What platform is it on?
It's on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's powerful. Gives you an idea of just what we really had to endure. I then went and watched the Malcolm X documentary. I can't believe I haven't seen it yet because I'm addicted.
Did you see who killed Malcolm X? Who killed Malcolm X one?
I did. Yeah.
You know what's so crazy about it? I'm not going to give it away, but a large part of that movie is tied to an area that I used to frequent when I was a kid. And one of the suspects mentored someone that I know.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So I'm not going to give too much, but like, I'm a huge Malcolm X fan. I've met his wife probably about 8 times in my life.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Dr. Betty Shabazz was my father's college professor. And my mom was like really big into like marching and protesting and all that other stuff. So I was around that most of my life as a child. So I've gotten to meet, I met Dr. Shabazz. I met Dr. John Henry Clark. I met Adelaide Sanford. I've met Dr. Jeffries was my mother's college professor. So I've met Dr. Jeffries. And so, yeah. That's really life.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm actually going to answer one for myself. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you've been holding out.
Wait, let me make sure I have the question right, even though I wrote it. But what was my original plan? It depended on the era, to be honest with you. There was a time when I wanted to be an astronaut. And then I realized I didn't like heights. So I love them now, ironically. And then there was a time that I wanted to be an attorney. And everybody tried to say to me, man, you'd be perfect. Took business law, got straight A's in the class. And then I talked myself out of it because I said, I can't afford law school. I was screwing up too much in high school because I was bored in high school. I had no interest in my high school. You know, my high school was like a fortress. We had a police station in my school, a holding cell in my school, a paddy wagon in front of my school with metal detectors. So that wasn't like the main focus on the school that I went to. So
where are you from?
Originally, I was born in Brooklyn. I grew up in Irvington, New Jersey.
Okay.
Yeah, Irvington is like, I grew up a block away from Newark. So the worst part of Irvington was my building. That was the start of it. And I wanted those things. And then I wound up going to college. And it was pretty much a trade school that was giving out degrees. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to make it to law school because I'm failing in school. I wasn't even failing because school was difficult. I was bored. I would literally go to class, take a test, get 100 and walk out because it wasn't hard for me. I wasn't challenged. I wasn't being taught how to educate myself. I was being taught how to retain information from a book that had nothing to do with me. So I wasn't going to care about that. So I went to school, got my degree in computer multimedia because my dad's a computer analyst. So I said, oh, I can just do what he did. I didn't really want to do that, but I saw that he did it. He made a decent living. And then I got to the point of getting a job and I was making more money than half of my friends' parents at 19. I was 19 years old with my own medical benefits. You know, how many 19? I mean, there's some people that's older now that still don't have their own medical benefits, but I was 19 with my own benefits. So I kind of gave up on my dreams for a paycheck, which I think a lot of people do. And, you know, believe it or not, this show, and as well as my other podcast, gives me the opportunity to kind of have my dream. Like my dream is I love to help people. I love to talk to people. One of the things about me is that I'm non-judgmental. When most people say that I legitimately am not. If you look back at my past episodes, I have interviewed almost every type of person. I have interviewed members of the LGBT community. I just interviewed someone that's a swinger, that's actually in the swingers world. I've interviewed people that have daddy issues. I've interviewed people that have caused daddy issues. I've interviewed people that have either committed and been victims of domestic violence. So I'm legitimately not judgmental. So I'm taking the opportunity to talk to people and understand them and use my favorite word, which is humanize them. Because we don't humanize people anymore. We see them as their labels. Society gives people labels and that's what we see them as. Yeah. You're a womanizer. Okay. Why?
That's true.
Why do you womanize? You're an abuser. Why? You're a molester. You're a victim. Why? Like one thing that I found out is that a lot of people that were molesting people were molested. And no one ever actually dealt with that trauma. So one of the things I try to humanize people to understand them. So that hopefully society can understand them and so that they can also try to understand themselves. And this platform gives me the opportunity to do that. It also gives me an opportunity to have people talk to each other. because we don't talk to each other anymore. Again, we allow others to speak for us. And if you allow someone else to speak for you, they can control your thoughts, which then leads to them controlling your actions. How many of us use meme-based mentality? Everything can be explained with a picture and a couple of words.
An emoji, a meme.
A meme and an emoji.
Yes.
So one of the things that meme-based mentality does is it takes out context. We don't have context anymore. We don't take the time to get that context from this other person. We'll just look at this person and say, okay, well, you're this type of person because that's what that description is. Everyone who looks or acts like this, that's how they are. Because that context is gone. And this meme-based or emoji-based society teaches us to be like that. My goal is to break that down. Another reason was because of how much I hate cancel culture. I hate the idea that if I disagree with you or you say something that I don't like, that you have to go away. I hate that idea. If you do something that I don't like that offends me, we're going to talk about it. And you're going to face me and you're going to have to deal with it. You can't run and hide. And I'm not going to make you run and hide away. You're going to deal with it. And then we're going to get through it or we're not. But at the end of the day, we're not going to gloss over it. Let it bubble up later. So, yeah, that's mine. Two more short questions and then we'll be done. I know I've been having y'all up here for a while. What are you willing to do to live the life that you want?
This is an open forum, right?
It's open.
What are you willing to do to live the life that you want to live?
I see what you did. You moved to another country, so
it's also about just because even living in another country, you can still become comfortable. You can still become comfortable with the people or the social group that you have or that I've grown accustomed to. Also, the same type of foods or trying different foods. So it's one of those things of stepping outside of your culture. Of your comfort zone every day. So instead of taking the same route to your favorite coffee shop, go try a different. Go try a different restaurant. Go to another area of the province that I live in, and by myself. Challenge myself to do it alone, not just with friends. Because a lot of times there's that tribal mentality where it's like, oh, I can't do this unless someone else will do it with me. So just getting out of that tribal mentality, getting out of that mindset of scarcity, getting out of the mindset of fear, and being confined within what people tell us that we should be doing. No one's judging us harder than we judging ourselves as well, because that's another concern that we all have. We put a lot of judgments on ourselves. We place a lot of conceptions on where we should be. Where do you want to be? That's the question. Where do you want to be?
Yeah, I don't think people know.
Definitely. And just to piggyback off that, I would say go opposite. I'm definitely personally, I believe in just doing things that others aren't doing. It's like Sherrie said, like there's a lot of people who have that herd mentality, and because of that, they get involved in things that they shouldn't get involved in. Whether it be just natural negative things, negative business opportunities, negative relationships in general, and really going opposite and just finding something that, like an untapped market, like just look for stuff that people aren't really doing, because in our reality, I know my personal goal is financial freedom. I want to be good. I want my family to be good, and in our actuality, there's so many ways of accomplishing that, but a lot of people have been conditioned to think that there's only a couple ways because of the herd mentality. That's all we know. That's all people express. So really, personally, I'm committed to, educating myself. Reading, doing our own reading. Like one thing that you said in terms of context, something that I've really recently been doing is reading the Bible front to back. literally, because it's literally
Wow.
a big story. You know, it's a crime story,
Yeah.
and there's many people like me personally. I'm not in-depth Christian or anything like that. I'm spiritual, but so many people speak on this book, and they speak on it completely out of context because they're most people haven't even read it. They're just depending on, the other things that they've heard people say. And then they just, kind of piggybacking. And then it's just like this. It's kind of like a game of telephone where, people just using phrases just because it's a phrase. And it's like, it's so much, literally, it's a story that has, and when you put context behind it, things completely change, so overall, I'm committed to really taking that personal journey of self-discovery, through doing things different, like right now, even what y'all saying, like the meme culture, like, don't get me wrong, I do it at times as well, but it's so easy to get consumed in scrolling, like you can scroll for never be satisfied. And overall, it's just doing things different, so yeah, great questions though, James. I definitely appreciate it, boss.
Oh, thank you for your comments. Anybody else? Come on, we got some people out here.
I know.
Before Sherrie called me out. Okay, I'm gonna tell you guys a secret. Okay. One of the biggest thing that I wanted to do was nursing. I'm a healthcare person. I couldn't figure this out. I went to nursing school full time, worked full time, and still graduated with honors in that prestigious college. And I did it.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you so much. And so I went to take this exam, and I'm sitting there, and that computer said, "You're about to start." And when that computer says that, my whole body just froze up. And needless to say, I didn't pass that exam, and mentally, it was damaging for me because I couldn't understand it. How did I go to work full time, school full time, graduated with honors, and pass and fail this exam? So what I did was I put it on the back burner. I did everything else. Open a nonprofit organization, open a modeling company, open up a business business consulting company. I've done it all. But there's one void in my life, and it's that RN. It's still riding on my neck. And so what I did was I turned down a big opportunity. The reason why I turned it down is because I want to allow myself time to pass this exam. So I went and I enrolled in a review class, and now I'm studying to take that exam. And when I get that RN license and I'm claiming it because I'm going to get it, I'm going to open a home care agency. That's my goal, and I'm aiming for it.
Good.
Formation. Yes, Queen Diva.
There you go.
There you go.
All right. Who else we got?
I know there's I think Regina. Gina is can you repeat the question, James?
No comments. I have no comments. Just listening.
What about
almost 11 o'clock, girl?
What about Boosie or Kima?
So we're almost done. So
yeah.
No, it's okay. It's all good.
Well, almost done. I only have one more question after this anyway. So
okay.
Yeah. So no one else has any comments on this? I'm actually looking forward to see if it's the open floor. This is really different from how I do some of my other episodes. With a lot of my other episodes, I interview my guests for about an hour, and then the audience gets a couple of minutes for Q&A. This, I want to hear from everybody else.
This one is harder because this one is forcing us to assess ourselves.
Yeah.
And you have to assess yourself. It takes so much. It really have you thinking. I'm gonna be saying, "Damn, James. Damn, James."
That's the goal.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
It's Friday night for y'all, right? Saturday afternoon morning.
Yeah.
It's like, do some soul searching.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm searching, honey. I'm searching deep.
Okay. I have one last question. And then if anyone has any other questions or comments, we can get to them after this. Okay. Ramon, were you here when we did the three faces, the three masks?
It's Armand, but I wasn't here.
Armand, I apologize.
No problem.
You weren't here? Okay. So I'll cover it again. there's the Japanese have a saying that we wear three faces. The first face is the face that you show the world. The second face you show to your close friends and family. The third face is the one you never show anyone. It's your truest reflection of who you are. So what I said before is that third face is the one that people often have a hard time facing. People oftentimes can't face that real version of themselves. And I said that I'm willing to bet that the average person couldn't write down the description of themselves in that third face, look in the mirror and read it to themselves. My question is there anyone that thinks that they can?
So all three faces, write down all three faces.
All three faces. The first two are easy. The first two are easy. The face you show the world, that's easy. The face you show your friends and family, that's easy. What about the one that you show yourself? What is you're supposed to really show yourself? I'll put it back up on the screen. The truest reflection of who you are. Goes to the old saying, to thine own self be true, which kind of goes into the freedom. You can't be free if you're not true to yourself. So if you have fears, if you don't even have to tell me what your fears are, but you know what? I'll do it myself.
Rephrase the question.
What do you mean rephrase it?
Repeat the question. Don't be
Sure.
laughing at me, Sherrie.
It is Sherrie. It is Sherrie, you all. Everyone's been calling me Sherrie.
Sherrie?
Yes, Sherrie. But
Sherrie.
no, it's fine. It's fine. The question.
Yeah. So the question is, again, the Japanese say that we have three faces. The first face is the face that you show the world. The second face is a face that you show your close friends and families. The third face is the face that you never show anyone, which is your truest reflection of yourself. How many of you can actually describe that third face to yourself?
Oh, I don't mind going.
I can. Go ahead.
So I'll run through them all. So my first face, the face that I show to the world, I believe is confidence.
Mm-hmm.
The face that I show to my friends and family is definitely comedy. Definitely like laughing, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And to myself, it's never ending competition with myself. It's at times doubtful. At times extremely excited. Sometimes there's a dash of fear in there. You got a little bit confusion. Overall, and something else is just this internal conflict of like when I went to Thailand, it was really crazy because, I've definitely, grown up in a capitalistic country. I'm pursuing this American dream, chasing money essentially. Then you go to Thailand. Life is so simple, they're not stressing the dollar, their lifestyle is just so much more simple, so much less stress. And then I had that eternal conflict of like, should I be chasing the dollars or should I be chasing like the peace of mind? That was a conflict. But overall, progression, that's what I'm really focused on, no matter what. Truly become my next best self. And I truly understand that I'm the only one who could do that, and that I learned that when I lost my weight, because I was really big for a long time and I was waiting for the change when the change was me. And that's life overall, you got to be the change that you want to see. So, it's really awesome. But just trying to, learn more about myself, learn more about the world that we're living in. The soul, just a student.
Yeah, cool. Thank you for sharing.
Ashe.
Definitely. Who was? I think Queen Diva was next. Marlena put hang on. Everybody's things are coming through the chat. All right, Marlena, strength broken. Yeah. Larita, first, always happy, smiling, confident, super strong. Second, a bit traumatized, a little bit of a temper that I hide by secluding and vulnerable. Third, I am insecurely secure in my talent, but not enough to step out as quickly as I should have in the past and currently. I am told I'm pretty, but I feel immensely imperfect and flawed and not good enough, though I lost 150 pounds. So,
You're
yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. Queen Diva, it's on you.
Ah, man. Okay. Okay. I show the world a strong, fearless person, an extrovert, but deep down inside, believe it or not, I'm shy. I'm shy. Larita, don't say a word. Deep, deep, I'm shy, and I'm strong to a certain degree, but I do have weakness, and that's one of the flaws that people think that because you're a strong person that you don't have moment of weakness.
Yeah.
I do fear. My fear is not being able to provide for my family and help my friends the way I need to want to help. I'm like the Salvation Army. I want to help everybody, and when I can't, I don't show it. I try my best to, even though there's time when I can't. So I'm
Mhm,
fearful of disappointing people. That's another big thing about me.
mhm,
And and I think that's my biggest thing. But I just want the world to know, just because you're strong doesn't mean you're not weak at times.
Yeah.
And strong people do have moments of weakness. And sometimes I'm afraid to show people that because they would be shocked and they wouldn't expect it. And I feel like I'll be like a disappointment to them. But deep down, when I'm in alone, oh, forget it. There's moments I'm in the house and I just start thinking about something and tears just start rolling. And I'm like, why am I crying? That's because I'm letting everything out when I'm alone. But outside, I'm like, holding everybody else up. The world, the statue, the man holding up the world.
mhm.
That's me. I'm the woman holding up everybody up outside, but inside, I get my warmth of weakness and fear.
Mm.
Okay, James, you got it out of me. Darn it, I'm done. I'm done.
I understand, Queen Diva. I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I would say for myself, the face I show to the world is very confident, adventurous, willing to try new things. The face that I show to my family and friends, they know me as always willing to try something new, always going left field, doing something completely different and stepping out of my comfort zone. But the face that I show to myself is honestly not feeling like I sometimes I struggle with being critical of where I am, honestly. Like maybe I should be doing something more, or maybe I can be doing for my family a little more, or even struggle with being too independent minded because I am alone in a sense, by myself out here. I have friends, but my comfort zone is back home. My family and friends and support system is essentially back in the States. But so I struggle with the idea of, or the fear of feeling like I'm not doing enough for my family or friends, or even feeling like I'm alone, or struggling with that sense of I am so independent minded that I don't need anyone else, but not being able to show that vulnerability of when I do need to lean in on support. So that's what I show to the world, my family and friends, and myself as well.
If anybody else have anything? If not, I guess I gotta do mine. All right. The face I show to the world is confident, cocky, at times a bit arrogant, uh, fearless. The face that I show my family is the comedian that's also fearless and very loving, that will tackle anything. The face that I show to myself is fear. There's a lot of things that I'm afraid and insecure of. A lot of my life, the best way to describe it is I've been in rooms I don't belong in. I spent a lot of time around adults growing up. So with most things in my life, I've either been the youngest the only black, the shortest, the skinniest, the fattest, the one with the least education, the one with the most education. So I never really fit into those circles. I had to, with a lot of things in my life, I had to force myself through a lot of circles. And in a lot of things in my life, I had every reason to fail and give up. And it's hard because you're literally at times going against your own brain. Your brain is, or people around you are telling you, man, you weren't supposed to be here anyway. Just be happy that you made it in the room. And when you're there, like, there's been quite a few times in my life when I've been the only person of color in a certain room. And that's a different kind of pressure because you now understand that if I screw up, I'm going to prove to them what some of them think about people of color. That's a different kind of weight that you're carrying. So you'll say, oh, I know the answer to X, Y, Z, and they'll kind of downplay you. So you start to question yourself. You start to feel insecure about yourself. You start to fear like, are they going to gang up and fire me? Another face that I show myself is anger. And it took me a long time to understand that. I have anger. Because again, I've gone through a lot in my life. I've been in those rooms where you're downgraded, you're not respected. People don't understand what you do because again, if you're the youngest, you're the only person of color, you're the one that's from the urban neighborhood when they went to Harvard. You start to develop a little bit of internal anger. Like, what else do I have to do to make you all respect me? What else do I have to do to make you all understand that I'm just as good as you, if not better? And if you've ever been the only person like you in a certain position, you can't show how you actually feel. The one thing is you can't be the angry black guy. That is a lot of pressure. Or the angry black woman. It's like, oh, you guys are just bitter. You guys are complainers. You guys are the angry black guy. Like, well, you know what? Yes, I am. But we can't show that. You know, I have an immense fear of failure, like a crazy fear of failure. And one of the reasons is that my great grandparents accomplished a lot in life. A lot of people in my family have accomplished a lot. I found out that I'm related to Q-Tip the rapper, the boxer Zab Judah. I'm related to. My great grandfather and grandfather both played in Negro Leagues. So what happens is you have such high expectations in life, and what happens is you're afraid of not at least meeting those expectations because I feel that sometimes we as a people, we tend to rely on what our ancestors done instead of building our own legacy.
Yeah.
And I have such a fear of not building a legacy for my generation and the generation after. It's like I'm almost obsessed with that, with building a legacy for my family and for the generations after me. And I'm afraid of not accomplishing that. I'm afraid of being one of those people that's still relying on, oh, well, you know, my grandfather did this, my mother did this, my father did this, but what did I do? Like, I've accomplished a lot, but I'm afraid of not accomplishing all the things that I want. And anyone that knows me knows how many different projects I'm juggling at one time. Like, I'll literally be doing a podcast while directing a movie, while writing a script to a sitcom, while writing a book. Like, I'm anyone who knows me will tell you I do stuff like that. And yeah, that's a face that I don't show a lot, is that immense fear of failure. The one face that I do show that's consistent is my drive. I have immense drive. And I think that drive is fed by my fear of failure. That drive is fed by my fear of being mediocre or average. I don't want to be, even though, again, you have every reason to be. When you're in that room that you don't belong in, you don't belong there. So if you fail, that's accepted. But that's such drive. I'm afraid to fail and be everything that society wants us to be. So yeah, I don't think I've ever actually done this in person before. So yeah, y'all got me out here talking.
I was going to say, James, boss, I think this is a great way, just like therapy, honestly, you know, a great to have a conversation. I think that's all therapy is just to just pull it out of you. You feel me? They just sit there and be like, hey, feel, and then it's somebody who can talk. You know? But definitely think this has been a safe space to have some awesome communication. You're beyond appreciated, man.
No, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, you carry a lot of value, James.
Thank you.
A lot.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So it's almost time to wrap it.
You're all right.
Oh, I appreciate it. Queen Diva and Larry, they know how much of a nutcase I am. But they're like, what you doing?
You all right. You all right.
Queen Diva, like, what you doing? I'm writing 9 movies. She's like, what? Well, yeah, I had to take a break from writing my book. So Loretta tell you the same thing. Like I'll be sitting there writing 9 movies while I'm writing a book while at work. So, but before we get out of here, a couple of things that we have to plug. Of course, please buy Sherrie's books, Uncovered. I bought them both. We need
Thank you so much.
Yes. It was a great read. We need to promote each other. Anyone that knows Malcolm X, he had that do for self mentality.
Yes.
So we have to prop each other up. We don't have to rely on the major book companies or the major publishers, or we don't have to rely on the paper to tell us this is important. No, let's prop ourselves. It's enough of us.
Yeah. And circulating the Black dollar is a very essential concept that we tend to ignore from time to time, but it's gotten better during COVID.
Yeah, we have to let it continue to grow.
Yeah.
So Sherrie, do you have a social media page so that people can follow you?
Yes, so I am on social media. I did plug in my IG, both IGs, as well as on Facebook. Here is Sherrie Elle or Sherrie Elle Poetry. I also have a YouTube channel that I am activating as well. There's www.sherriepoetry.com. There's blogs, there's merchandise. There's actually this t-shirt I'm wearing. It's personalized. It's Sherrie Elle Poetry, but there's other t-shirts, hoodies, accessories, everything is on there. Like I said, it is on sherriepoetry.com. And please follow me. I follow back. I'm not that person. I respond to messages. If you need this, if you want to send emails, if you just want to connect and share the craft of poetry, that's fine as well. I also have a beginner's writing course. It's perfect for those who are writers. It's for those who are just interested in exercising the craft. If you have some extra time on your hands, I encourage you. It's called Uncover, the Writer's Release Course. I actually have a few people that have invested in it and they've enjoyed it. So yes, it is available. And yeah, I'm doing a few different things, a few different projects. And if you want to collaborate on some things, I'm open. I'm available. I'm just on a different time zone.
Yeah. Well, I'm following people's pages that I didn't follow before. Yes, I'm following.
Don't be that person.
No, I didn't follow because I didn't know everybody's social media handle. So I'm following everybody, sending everybody requests. For me, I have a few pages. Fall to Rise podcast on Instagram and on Facebook. Also, please like and subscribe to the Fall to Rise podcast YouTube channel. We have a lot of content. This is actually episode 23 for me. So yeah, I've been doing this for 23 weeks. I'm trying to put the link in the chat. It's coming in here. But yeah, we have a lot of older episodes, and we've covered everything from mental health. We've covered daddy issues and specifically how they affect men. And we actually show the perspective of someone that has daddy issues and from a man whose children have daddy issues because of him. We have an episode that I did called Am I Black Enough? What it means to be black in Black America. The whole concept actually came from when Joe Biden said, if you vote for Donald Trump, you ain't black. So my question was, who is anybody to tell black people what's not black when we as a people haven't decided what it meant? So I had an eclectic panel on that. We did, Loretta's been on actually 3 of my episodes. So we've done episodes on domestic violence, We've done episodes on mental health, suicide, molestation, surviving the criminal justice system with a good buddy of mine that was falsely sent to prison, and how the effect it had on his mental. We also did one about navigating the criminal justice system with a good friend of mine that's a former prosecutor and defense attorney. So again, please like and subscribe to the channel. I'll put it in the chat. It's a Fall to Rise podcast on YouTube. We have a lot of exclusive content that's coming up really soon. I also have another podcast called The Extreme Truth podcast, which is very different from this one. It's a lot more foul language, but we we cover more social topics. We actually have recently had a few topics on staying in relationships too long. We did an episode called gaslighting. I'm not sure if any of you know what gaslighting is, but it's a form of manipulation that a lot of people do. A lot of people, they will manipulate you to the point that they have you questioning your own sanity. We just did an episode about child support, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And this Monday, we have an episode that I've been waiting for weeks to do. Can you cheat on your spouse and still love them? We're going to talk about it on Monday because I've gotten so many different views on this. And the views are usually based on gender. But I'm going to I have a scenario that may change some people's minds. So please, please, please feel free to join the Extreme Truth podcast. We have it on Instagram, Extreme Truth. That's XTREME Truth Podcast on Instagram, Extreme Truth Podcast on Facebook, and Extreme Truth Podcast on YouTube. Again, please like and subscribe to these channels. Hang on, let me try to find everyone else. I know that Queen Diva, she has a magazine, Unique Blends magazine, which is on Mad Cloud, I believe. You can probably explain that a little bit better than I can. Yeah, and we're going to be in it eventually.
You're correct. It's a lifestyle magazine. I'm in the fashion world, but it's not only a fashion magazine. It features everyday people that's doing extraordinary things.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. So how do people buy it? How can people access it?
It's on Mad Cloud.
Mag Cloud.
MAGCLOUD. Yes.
Okay. All right. Does anyone else have anything else they need to plug?
That into the chat, Queen Diva.
Yeah,
You said Mad
Yeah.
Cloud. Okay.
I would also love to jump in real quick.
Sure.
I actually just recently released a website called Become the Bank. But in bank, the A is a V. But overall, it's just a website that aims to help people like me, where I come from, understand how they can become their next best self through personal branding, business development, and overall financial guidance. Become the bank. In actuality, it's crazy because a lot of people, they have people who have debts. They think they're paying their debts to the company, but they're really paying the debt to the bank. In actuality, the bank controls everything, whether it be the stock market, whether it be everything that relies on the stock market. It's all the bank. So my whole goal is truly to help people from lower middle class communities understand how they can become the bank of their own lives and, just boss up and take.
Okay, I'm actually looking for that. You said it's Become the Bank?
Yes, but the A in bank is a V. So it's Become the BVNK.com.
BVNK.com. All right, I'm actually adding it to my I forgot, I'm missing a letter. Hang on. Become the BVNK.com. Yeah. So I'm actually
Larita, let me copy this.
I'm saving this down. And we know Larita also has a book that she did with Les Brown.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's huge. That's huge.
Find it. I have it somewhere in here.
She put the link in here. I'm
Oh, it's in there? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Cool. Yeah, I have it. So it's in the living room, but I don't feel like going to. Oh, there it is. So.
Got what?
I feel like going to go get it because I gotta go find it. It's in the living room. So there you go. That's Larita's book, Breakthrough. And so, yeah. And here's a little bonus. I know we spoke about Dr. Betty Shabazz earlier. That's actually Dr. Shabazz and my mom from some years ago.
Oh, Ted.
That's
Yeah. And so that's my mom kind of peeking out in the corner. But there's actually a picture of me somewhere. I don't know where it's at, but I'm sitting on Dr. Shabazz and Gil Noble's laps. I have to find it. I'm gonna post it when I find it. But you know what? I really had fun tonight. Like I was so worried about this because I hadn't written the show yet because I've had a lot going on just in my personal life lately. So I didn't write the questions for tonight's show until 7:30, and I was still like, after about 15 minutes, I was like, man, that's all the questions. But it just flowed because the conversation was there, and we needed to have this conversation, I think, as a group. So yeah. I really, really appreciate all of y'all. And Larita, I see your hand is up.
Yeah, I just wanted to.
Terrible.
I know.
She's always calling me terrible.
Yeah, I do. That's my thing. I'm a little country, a little bit rock and roll, you know. But I just really wanted to thank you for doing this episode. This is a really great episode. I'm looking forward to connecting to everyone who put their social media in. I believe I'm connected with Marlena. I came to North Carolina, boo. I'm sorry I couldn't come get that food. It's okay if you're who I think it is. But yeah, next time. But yeah, this is a really great episode, and it is definitely an important episode, and I'm just glad to have been here to be able to witness it. So yeah,
thank you.
Blessings and much success to everyone in the room, especially
definitely.
You guys. Yeah.
Thank you. You too. Oh, there's one thing okay, I'm sorry. Okay.
It was so valuable. Everything.
Yeah, it was. There's one thing I forgot. I'm on my marathon run, so I'm actually doing another show tomorrow with a guest named Dee Bradshaw. She was actually in the room earlier. She's into metaphysics and mysticism.
Oh.
So like tarot, numerology, intuitive readings, energy reading, different stones, meditation, living your life, in tune with nature, tuning your vibration. So we're actually doing that episode tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I know for those of you that are in Asia, that's 3 a.m. So you might have to catch the YouTube because I doubt if you'll be up at 3 a.m. So, you know, that's going to be a good one tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to it. And again, we have the one Monday, Extreme Truth. My other one. So again, if you have not, please like and subscribe to the Extreme Truth Podcast Network YouTube page, as well as the Fall to Rise Podcast YouTube page, because again, we have a lot of exclusive content that is coming out. But I cannot thank you, Sherrie, enough for coming out here. It's just, the journey is just so amazing. Just from you reaching out to me saying, yeah, I saw you did a show on Africa, and hey, you want to do a show?
The couple that from Kenya, I actually had the chance to connect with her, and so I noticed that, and I was just like, wow. And Kenya is definitely a place, as we spoke about, definitely on the to-do list, or not even to live list. Yeah. I mean, I really appreciate just for your openness. You were so candid. I mean, you kept the energy going. I really, really appreciate you so much. Armand, you too. I saw you. You came on, brought the energy. I didn't answer the question. He was like, I don't even know what's happening, but yeah, I'll answer that one. So, but this is my thing. I want to do this again one day. If y'all are down, I want to do it again. So I think bringing more people on the platform. Like, this is such a diverse group of people with so many different skill sets, so many different businesses. We're gonna continue to grow this. My goal with the company that I own is I want to travel the world. With the show, I already have an invitation in Kenya to do a live version of both of my shows. I also have an open invitation in the Dominican Republic to do one. So I might have to take a little trip down to Thailand too. So, but Arigato gozaimasu. Yeah, I'm going Japanese.
Yes. But again, thank you all for coming on. I really, really appreciate you. And for those that are watching, thank you for tuning in. This is not the end of this. We will be doing this again, and we will be expanding. So everybody, thank you. Have a safe day or night, depending on where you are. Be blessed. All right.
สวัสดีค่ะ บ๊ายบาย เจอกันค่ะ